Hallelujah. 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 Baruch Hashem. Todaya. Nah, yeah. Todaya. Nah, Father. Nah, yeah, Elohim. Amen. To the power, Kulam Yahweh. Nah, yeah. Have mercy and compassion upon us and our chastisement and give us of our shortcomings. Nah, Elohim. Allow us to return unto you, Father. What is written, Most High God, that you take pleasure in the correction of the wicked, Most High God, and I ask that you allow us to correct our ways and our righteousness and spare us. Nah, yeah. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Praise the mighty Yah. Shalom. How's everybody doing? All right. Can I be heard? Okay. Now, for those who are following, you may know that this right here is lesson number 20. All right. And next week, which is September 7th on the calendar, we're going to be having this here, which is a culmination of all 20 classes in one. So you're going to want to get your 201s, your 201s, your 501s, your Hebrew dictionaries, and so forth and so on. My number is 908-587-4841. What we're going to be doing in this particular one is a redo of lesson number 20. Why? Because lesson number 20 is when we got complaints. I mean, yes, my bad, thank you, Aki. It is review of lesson number 12, AKA lesson number 20, all right? So I put in my notes from there, Ma Shalom Kem, Animekwawe, Atem Maragishin Tobin, which means, how are you all doing? I hope you all are feeling good. All right. Now, one of the things we want to start off with, all right, lesson 20, all right, is the distinction between Hebrew, okay, and Yiddish. Many brothers and sisters who see the Hebrew that we speak are quick to say, oh, that's Yiddish, without basic understanding, no offense intended, on what is Yiddish and what is Hebrew. All right, so we want to go over that particular aspect. The Hebrew word, okay, for mother, all right, is what? Anyone? Ima. All right, and the Yiddish word, I'm gonna put H for Hebrew and Y for Yiddish. For mother, anybody, is mutar. All right. Now, though it's written in the same characters of syllables, doesn't mean that it's Hebrew writing. You understand? I just want to make that to be noted. Let me give an example of what I'm saying. You have an example here. S-H-A-L-O-M spells what? Shalom. Yet, brothers and sisters, this word right here is not Hebrew in writing. This is English writing. Yet it's a Hebrew word, spelled in English letters. Well, this is a Yiddish word, spelled in Hebrew lettering. So we must be able to understand and be able to differentiate the distinction and the difference between the two, which is very important. So I just hope that that could be noted and understood for edification purposes. All right? Now, to further explain our point, we want to sit there and explain the Hebrew word for son, S-U-N, right, is the word Chama. Now, many brothers and sisters, they'll say that the word for son in Hebrew is Shemesh. Now, the word Shemesh is generally translated as S-U-N, even in the Bible, in the Tanakh. However, the literal meaning of Shemesh is a ministrant, M-I-N-I-S-T-R-A-N-T. A ministrant is something that is being used for a particular thing. Therefore, if you understand the terminology for bathroom, anybody? How do you say bathroom in Hebrew? Beit shimush, two different words. Beit is one, shimush is the other. Peace. And the word shimush literally means usage. So when you say Beit Shimush, you are literally saying the house of usage. So just want that to be noted for edification purposes. So now, when you are saying, brothers and sisters, the terminology and the wording of Shemesh as son, you're saying something that is used for a particular purpose. Now, in the book of Isaiah 24 in the Bible, you see this word here, Chama, meaning son. From the Hebrew root word Cham, hot or warm. All right? So I just want that to be noted for edification purposes. Now, the Yiddish word for son, okay, is this. D-un. Now, you're not going to go inside the Tanakh, the Torah, the Nevi'im, and the Ketubim, and see this word here, dizun, translated into the word for son. All right, so I just want that to hopefully be noted for edification purposes. Ima is Hebrew for mother. Mut'ar is Yiddish for mother. Chama is Hebrew for son, S-U-N, and son in Yiddish is dizun. So all one may have to do is look up the words in Hebrew and the words in Yiddish to be able to gain an understanding of what one is speaking on. Okay, so let that be noted for edification purposes. Next thing to go over, and what we're speaking of in this particular case, is this. All right, to further strengthen our point, we have here the Bible. All right, regular Gideon's version, containing, like in this case here, the Old and the New Testament. But I want to read something out of it, if we will. All right, or in this case here, containing only the Old Testament, for those who know why. Okay, but we're going to go into Jeremiah chapter 28. Okay, and here is what we read. And it came to pass the same year, in the beginning of the reign of Zedekiah, king of Judah, in the 4th year, in the 5th month, that Hananiah, the son of Azur, the prophet, which was of Gibeon, spoke unto me in the house of Yah, in the presence of the priests and of all the people, saying, thus speak thou of hosts, the God of Israel, saying, I have broken the yoke of the king of Babylon. Within 2 full years will I bring again the place of the vessels of the Most High's house, that Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, took away from this place and carried them to Babylon. Now, when you look in verse 3, we just read Jeremiah, the 28th chapter, right? In verse 3, you read of Nebuchadnezzar, all right? Now, this is how it's spelled in English, all right? Nebuchadnezzar. English transliteration from the Hebrew, Nebuchadnezzar, but the Babylonian, or his name, will be spelled as this, N-A-B-U-K-U, yeah, I had to look this one up myself, D-U-R-R-I-U-S-U-R. Now that is his Babylonian name. Nebuchadnezzar. Nabuchodonosor. That's the Babylonian way of saying it. So when you read among the Israelites saying Nebuchadnezzar or Nebuchadnezzar in certain cases with an R instead of the N, what that is saying is that's called transliteration. So when you go and even see, like in the stone edition of the Tanakh, and you see the word Nebuchadnezzar in there, that though it's written in Hebrew letters, it's not a Hebrew word. It's a Babylonian word put into Hebrew letters. Just like Shalom. It's an English spelling of a Hebrew word. Well, Hebrew does the same thing. It is referred to as this in linguistics: transliteration. All right? So you ain't want to look that up in your own time. So I just hope that could be noted for edification purposes. Are there any questions or comments concerning what we went over, all right, so far? Okay. Okay, so we can sit there and gain an understanding of what we're speaking of. Hebrew with vowels is not Yiddish. All right, so I just want that to have been pointed out. Now, we're going to touch on upon the grammar aspect. All right? Hebrew grammar, slightly in this particular case. You have the word man said as ish. Right? Then you have good man said as ish tob. All right, so I want to write this down further so it can be seen clearer. All right, because I'm looking at it like, wow. We got good man. What am I pointing out, brothers and sisters, is the adjective in Hebrew follows the noun. That ish is the noun. Ish told, good man. All right, so now you will have it to where this is woman. All right, said as isha. Questions or comments? Okay, so good woman, okay, would be what? Anyone? Isha. I'm sorry? Yeah, Isha Toba came. So you notice the Kwamatz and the Hay is feminine. Then you got the Kwamatz and the Hay showing feminine. This is just grammar understanding that the adjective in Hebrew, brothers and sisters, follows the noun. All right, so hopefully that could be noted for edification purposes. All right, so we want to just sit there and emphasize on that. So is it the same thing if you said Ish Ra, heaven forbid, a bad man? If you said Ish Asir, a rich man, or Isha Asira, which means a rich woman. You understand? So that's the same thing if one were to say Abba Tov, a good father. Abba Asir, a rich father. All right, so just want that to be noted for edification purposes, that in Hebrew, the adjective follows the noun. You may want to write that down in your notes. Okay? Next, we're going to go over, because this lesson is already up, but like I stated, for brothers who ever had their hair braided or so forth by a woman, right? And she looks at what she did, and she won't let you go to the mirror to see what she don't like, even though you're paying her to get your hair braided. Because I know I went through it. Like, no, that represents me. I don't want you going outside like that. We in Shema Yisrael in this class under Mordeh Yeshaya, blessed be the Most High, once we start getting 2 and 3 or 4 dislikes, it's time to sit there and pay attention to what the people are telling you. Because one of the things off camera that the elder principal had told me is when we're doing this in the name of the Most High as a service to the people. So therefore, you're not representing Kashub the Danite. You're not representing the book writer. You're representing in the name of the Most High to do a service to the people of the Most High. So when they're saying work on this and that, take heed to it. Okay, so just want that to be noted for edification purposes. Next, we're going to go over, all right, in line what we're going in, the Lamed Aleph verb. Now, for those who've been following, we went over this several times. A lamed aleph verb is like this: bara, rapa, right? One meaning, bara means to create, okay, in root form. Then you got rapa, meaning to heal, all right, H-E-A-L, all right? Any verb that ends with an aleph is considered and called a lamed aleph verb. So I want that to be noted. You're never going to have it to where it's a lamed aleph and a lamed hey. You're not going to have that. You might have a lamed aleph in a peyod, because a peyod verb is a verb that begins with a yod. So you may have that as you go along in your studies. All right? So an ayin yod verb, all right, as we went over, is any verb that has a yod in the middle of it. So it says this word right here. The word shir, meaning to sing, all right? To sing. Or in another case, you have an ayin waw verb, all right? Ayin waw verb, right? Just as in the word shub, all right? Meaning to return. All right, so we just want to sit there and explain this kind of aspect in this particular case. This is very important. It may seem like, oh, okay, cool. It is cool, but at the same token, it's also very important. All right, so I want this to be noted. All right, so we got bara, to create, rapa, to heal, ayin yod form, ishir, to sing. Then we have shu, to return. Now, when you conjugate, brothers and sisters, anytime you have an ayin yod or an ayin waw form in the past tense, in the qual stem, all right, because we're taking it back to lesson 12, like, oh, you seem like you went over it. Yeah, we did, but we wanted to sit there and let the sound be clearer. For edification purposes, is emphatically saying what? You drop the yod out. So it becomes shorty, shorta, shornu, shortem, so forth. Whereas in this particular case with the lamed aleph past tense, all you say is barati, barata, rapati, rapata. All right? So just want that to be noted for edification purposes. Okay? Now, one of the other things concerning what we want to go over, brothers and sisters, is this. And that is, like one of my main Hebrew instructors, Mordeh Mishael, had pointed out, and that is the fact of saying that Hebrew is the language of gender. And what we mean by that emphatically is this. When we say that Hebrew is the language of gender, right, is you have echad, meaning one, right? O-N-E. And this is the masculine, mind you. Then you got the feminine for one, okay? Which is the word achat. Okay? So we just want to point that out right there, that this ends achat with a feminine letter, and that being the tau in this particular case. All right? Then you have, as stated, the masculine echad. So you got echad and achat. Okay? So if there's any questions or comments, please feel free to let me know. All right? We have what? Ish is what? Man or chief, okay? Because yes, the word ish does mean chief as well. All right? You have ish echad, right? I want to emphasize something. The Most High God is not a man like you and I, or like the brother Chief Yashar is, or any chief man or prince man you may know. So when we go in Exodus and we see the Hebrew words Yahweh Ish Melchama, or in the English, the Lord is a man of war, Ish Melchama means the chief of war, aka a warrior. So it's not saying that the Most High is a man like a physical man upon the earth. All right? He's not a Ben Adam. He's Ish Melchama. So the chief of war, when you go to Exodus 15, verse 3. So I just want that to be noted. But ish echad means one man. All right? So I want this to be noted for edification purposes. The noun still precedes what is describing it. The noun precedes its number. So the adjective agrees with the noun in Hebrew, which also agrees with the verb in Hebrew. All right? And then when you're showing it in aspects of numbers of 1, 2, and 3, it goes after it, but it still shows its agreement with it. All right, so one man is that. So we have Isha, okay, Akat. All right, and that means one. So we can begin to understand what we're talking about. All right, this is grammar and gender. Echad, one. And as you may know, Echad, Shanayim, Shalosha, Arba'a, Hamesha. 1 through 5 masculine. Then there's the feminine way to count 1 through 5. Akat, Shatayim, Shalosh, Arba, Hamesh. So I just want that to be noted for edification purposes. When Leah gave birth to Levi, she said she had Banim Shalosha, 3 sons. All right? So therefore, the word Shalosha, though it ends, what we're speaking of in regards to this is that though it ends in what sounds normally as feminine, the numbers, when you're dealing with this 1 through 10, it shows it in the what seems to be the reverse roles of masculine and feminine. All right, so I just want that to be noted for edification purposes. Okay, now, many brothers and sisters, they deal with the Strong's Concordance. All right, now I brought this, perhaps in spirit for a reason. This right here, all right, is the Young's Analytical Concordance. All right, so we can gain an understanding of what we're talking about. My brother, can this be seen on the camera pretty well? All right, Young's Analytical Concordance. This is something you can get on Google or Amazon. I recommend people get that. Strong's Concordance is not the best reliable source if you want to look up Hebrew words. It's good if you want to do what is just called a concordance. Okay, so now I want to explain what I mean by that. You have a word such as this here. All right? So we can gain an understanding of what we're talking about. The word in the Strong's Concordance is H. Let me make sure I have this correct. H5378. 5378 in the Strong's Concordance. Okay? Now, they have this word written as this, N-A-S-A. But those who are familiar with Hebrew know good and well that this doesn't say Natha. This says Nasha, N-A-S-H-A. You got the noon, which is the N, the S-H, and then remember our buddy here, the aleph is mute. So therefore, it is said properly as not Nasa, but Nasha. Okay? And that means to deceive. Reason why I want to go over this is because, no offense intended, some brothers and sisters are taking the Strong's Concordance breakdown of Hebrew and then trying to, in their way, apply it or imply it, you understand, as if it actually means what they're saying it means, which it does not mean that in pronunciation. Okay, so I hope that could be noted for edification purposes. Strong's Concordance is good if you want to look up a word. It is not, however, the best reliable source if you want to learn Hebrew. Okay, so I just want that to be noted for edification purposes. All right, so next thing we want to go over is this concept here. All right, because we're still lesson 20, right, which is redo of lesson number 12. This word, okay, right here, said by many as the word Messiah. But as we went over in the understanding of what a transliteration is, this word does not spell in Hebrew into the English transliteration as Messiah. The Hebrew of it is spelled as this: Mashiach. Okay? So, and in the ancient as this. All right, so we can gain an understanding of what we're talking about. This letter right here is the sheen, making the sh, sh, not the s sound. So it's Mashiach. If we remember from the lessons number 2 and 3, anytime you have the letter ket with a patak underneath, you pronounce the patak first and then the ket. So it's not Mashika, it's Mashiach. All right, like ruach, meaning spirit, or tapuach, meaning apple. All right, so I just hope that could be noted for edification purposes. Next thing we're going to sit there and deal with in regards to that is some people dealing only in the English transliteration has said Messiah should be said as Messiah. But when you're looking at it from the Hebrew pronunciation, this doesn't have the word Yah in it. So we must understand this. The word Mashiach means anointed. All right? So there were many people who were anointed. All right? Anointed. Now, Aaron was anointed. His 4 sons, were anointed. Nadab, Abihu, Eleazar, and Itamar. So already in the Torah, we already have 5 messiahs. That's another subject. Those who know what I'm talking about know what I'm getting at. But, brothers and sisters, for those who rely, no offense intended, upon a transliteration of something, have brothers and sisters saying, oh, Messiah in the English, as said here, not realizing this AH is really coming from the ket, making a ka sound, the strong ka sound, Mashiach, and so forth. They're saying that IAH should say Messiah. So they're saying that Messi must mean something and Yah must mean something as in the Most High. But yet the name of the Most High, which is Yah, is not in the word Mashiach. So therefore, this is some of the dangers when you're dealing with just transliterations and then trying to apply it to the ancient language itself. So I just wanted to point this out for edification purposes. Messi does not mean anointed. Yah is the name of the Most High. However, Messi is not the word meaning anointed. So Messiah or Messiah is literally the English transliteration of the Hebrew word Mashiach. All right? So I hope that could be noted for edification purposes. Okay. What we're going to do now, brothers and sisters, with the time allotted, okay, is deal in this particular aspect right here. Now, on Shabbat, I announced what this class will be about. Lesson number 12 done over. All right? So let's go over one word, if you will. Okay? Shub. Meaning, as stated, to return. Okay? So what we're going to do, all right, is look at this word right here. The word shub, meaning to return, right? And what this right here, if we look at it, the future tense of it is said as ashub. And then you have, brothers and sisters, tashub. I will return, you will return. Now, for those very abreast in Hebrew so far, you know good and well that this tashub, meaning you will return masculine, is also the same way of saying she will return. So we just want that to be noted for edification purposes. Okay? We're going to move on in this particular aspect. Now, brothers and sisters, if you look at this word here, Yashub means he will return. Now, why am I going over this? Lesson 12 is basically a lesson just to let some misunderstandings be clarified in Hebrew. All right? So we have Tashub, which means you, masculine plural, or she, which is feminine third singular, will return. All right? Brothers and sisters, unfortunately, brothers who or sisters who may not understand what conjugation is, to take something and put it in the past tense, the future tense, the present tense, will sit there and say that both Tashub and Yashub both mean literally will return, and not mean either you will return or she will return or he will return. Depends upon what one is saying. This shows, brothers and sisters, no offense intended, that Hebrew literacy, and I say this in due respect, that Hebrew literacy, unfortunately, is not high among some brothers and sisters. This is not to sound disrespectful, offensive, or anything of that sort. However, this is, as stated, a point to sit there and clarify certain matters once it comes down to the Hebrew itself. Now, when you go in the Bible, in Deuteronomy chapter 30, it has the word in there, Tashub. You will return. All right? You can get your eastward or whatever download you may have to look it up in Hebrew and go through the interlinear of it, and you will see Tashub translated as you will return. All right? Then you go to Isaiah chapter 7 in the Bible. All right? And you can look up the word Yashub, which means he will return. When you go to Isaiah, it says She'er Yashub, the name of Isaiah's son, which means what? A remnant will return. But if you don't understand masculine and feminine, which is very important because we already went over that Hebrew, brothers and sisters, is the language of gender, we begin to see, know, and understand exactly what's being spoken about and what is being presented. Okay, so in light of that, hopefully if there's any questions, please, when this video is uploaded, add it into the comment board and it will be addressed from that particular point. Only questions that are uplifting or curious will be addressed. Questions that are disrespectful, offensive, or downtrodden will not be addressed. All right, so not to sound disrespectful, this is a week night. People come from school, home, working to put the time in to get this done. Therefore, monotonous or silly questions or disrespect will not be tolerated and addressed. All right, so I just want that to be noted for edification purposes. Okay, so next, we're going to go over, brothers and sisters, what is the Lamed Hey past tense verbs, if we will. Okay? Want to go over that. We have Lamed Hey verbs. If you remember, a Lamed Hey verb, brothers and sisters, is any verb that ends with the letter Hey, as in the case of this here. The word Razah, all right? Meaning to want or to desire. So in its past tense, starting from the first person, you have in the qual stem we're speaking, Razi T. All right? If we see, know, and understand, brothers and sisters, remember this is the redo of lesson 12. So some people may say, oh, we already passed this, but we want to address this again because of the comments on lesson 12. So you have Raza, the Hey becomes the Yod. All right, in the past tense is when you show the what they refer to as the irregularity or it being irregular. It shows in the Lamed Hey form in the past tense. All right, so instead of Razati, it's Raziti. Okay, then you have Ra zita. Okay? Oh, pardon me. Rat zita. Then you have the same spelling, mind you, for rat zit, which means I want it, you want it masculine, she want it. Then you have this yet again, ratza, which is the third person masculine singular, also the root of it. So from there you have rats ta. Okay? Because the hey becomes the tau in this case, meaning she wanted or she desired. Rats ta yale, she wanted a boy. Rats ta laleke kanuta, she wanted to go to the store. Rats ta ish b'chayeha, she wanted a husband in her life. Ratza isha b'chayayewa, he wanted a wife in his life. Hu ratza isha toba b'chayal likyok gamkein, he wanted a good wife in his life to live thereby. So these are just some of the things to just go over in Hebrew for Hebrew edification purposes. Okay? So we have, as stated, when you're dealing with the lamed hey, it shows in the qual stem, because we're dealing with lesson 12, just redone over, it shows where it's irregular at and it's past tense. Okay, so I just hope that could be noted and understood for edification purposes. Next, brothers and sisters, with the time allotted, all right, we have the word seen. All right, that's a good one. The word seen, all right, said as this, because I don't want people to think I'm saying seen. S-E-E-M in the English. Seen is what? This is called an ayin yod verb. Ding, 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 you got it right. Those are just parentheses around the ayin and the yod. Okay? So, ayin yod verb. Now, how do you show that in this cross stem in the past tense? Is by saying samti. Means I put or I placed. Samti, all right? Samta. Then you have stopped, meaning you put when speaking to a female. Then you have sam, its real initial root, meaning he put. Then you have, pardon me, sam, not sham in that case, another subject for a later time perhaps. Then you have sama, means she put. So here we have it, looking at it from this particular angle, samti, samta, samt, sam, sama. I put, you put when speaking to a male, you put when speaking to a female, he put and she put. So I hope this can be seen, known, and understood for edification purposes. All right, so as stated, this is when we're dealing with the ayin yod verb. Okay, so, and as stated, this means to put or to place. To put or place. All right, so we're going to continue on with the time allotted. All right, see, it's a deep lesson, but it's not as lengthy as others because we're doing a review. Now, as stated, we're going to go over all 20 lessons next week, September 7th. That means everything from the alphabet all the way down to the PL stem. All right, so that's a very large amount of Hebrew notes. You may want to get your notes, your pens, your pads, and sit there and take, blessed be the Most High, this lesson that's going to be coming. So that's September 7th, right here, Shema Yisrael, all right, 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I came to the understanding from some people, oh, I can't make it out because of working in school. This is why when we have the access of the internet, blessed be the Most High, we put it online. Now, I want to state, brothers and sisters, Ani ose hakitota ele, la azor et am Yisrael. I do these classes to help the people of Yisrael. Einini ose hakitota ele, la rib bim achai by Yisrael. I do not do these classes to be at confrontation with my brothers in Israel. Yesh morim akerim by Israel. Ham lingdim eta ibrit. Me tu me. There are brothers and sisters. I didn't say sisters, but I did say brothers. There are brothers in Israel who know and who are teachers who can't teach better than myself. You understand? Once it comes down to this, the list of my teachers in Hebrew who have passed away, Cohen Lewi, More Yosef, More Tabak, Adon Aharon. My teachers among us in Hebrew who are still among us, Kohen Mikael, More Mishael, Chief More Yehotzedek. These are some of my main teachers in Hebrew. Oh yeah, may he rest in peace, More Hoshea. I can't forget him. So I just want to sit there and have that to be noted and stated in both Hebrew and English. Eineni ose hakitota ele lihiyot arib larib lihiyot marib ba'achai ba'Yisrael. So those who know what I mean know what it is. All right. So with the time allotted, all right, because we're going to conclude in a couple of so minutes, we want to go over a particular aspect. All right? And that's this. The understanding of some saying that the name of the Most High is said as Ahaya. That is a very common thing said in Israel. So let's go into the Hebrew and understand this. They are saying that Ahaya, because these are brothers and sisters, and I say this in no disrespect intended, who are saying that Hebrew has no vowels. Regardless of the fact that ah is a sound, thus ah is a vowel, there are some who are saying that Hebrew has no vowels. And they are taking it from looking at this form of the ancient Hebrew, Aleph, Hey, Yod, Hey, Ah, Ha, Ya. They're saying that it's Ahaya must be the name of the Most High, written in modern form of Hebrew as this. Now, if we understand anything about the verbs that we went over, we can tell what already. Remember, we went over the word ratzah before. The word ratzah means to do or to want. Pardon me. Ratzah means to do, pardon me. Ratzah means to want or desire. The Hebrew word asa or asha means to do or to make. But now, if we're looking at this right here, just take the hey, yod, and the hey. This means to be or to exist. Okay? So, this, as stated, is a lamed hey verb. So, therefore, haya means he was or he existed. And it's a literal meaning. Haya literally means he was or he existed. All right? So if you're saying the name as this, as Ahaya, said in the Hebrew with the vowels, as Yeh, it's said as this, Yeh, which means literally, I will be. All right? When you go in Exodus chapter 3, verse 14 and verse 15, Moshe or Moses asked the Most High, when the people ask me, what is your name? What shall I tell them? The response is, Ehyeh Asher Ehyeh. That is said there, and the literal meaning of that is, I will be that which I will be. So, one of the things we must know and understand is that a human will never say that name as Ehyeh, all right? For some people might be saying Ahaya in reference to oneself. So now when you go in the Bible, brothers and sisters, in the book of 1 Samuel chapter 18, verse 18, right? Here is what we read, and it says as follows in the English here. And David said unto Saul, who am I and what is my life, or my father's family in Israel, that I should be a son-in-law to the king? Now in the Hebrew, we know the word should does not exist. So in the Hebrew, it says, Ehyeh chatan lamelech. Ehyeh, I will be. David in 1 Samuel chapter 18, verse 18, I state again. 1 Samuel chapter 18, verse 18, David said, what is said as this in the modern form and this in the ancient form in reference to his own self. So once again, that's 1 Samuel 18, 18. All right? So we know from that, and David obviously is ancient Israel. You understand? I don't really think outside of Moshe or the judges, you really can't pick up too many more leaders besides Saul and Samuel that's of ancient Israel besides him. You know, just making that point right there. All right, so you have Ehyeh, I will be. Haya, its root, to be or to exist. Okay, so when you conjugate it, it will become Hayiti, I was. All right? Hayita, you were, masculine singular. Hayit, pardon me, you were, feminine singular. And then Haya, he was, Hayita, she was. So, if you remember, brothers and sisters, all right, I'm gonna have to stretch on this one because I want the stuff to remain. You have, as stated, this here. Haya is right, okay? Haya is right here. This aleph in the beginning of it shows it to be the first person masculine plural in the future tense. So if this aleph had been a tau, right, it would have been, instead of Ehyeh, Tihyeh. Then it would have been Tihi, you will be speaking to a female. Yihyeh and Tihyeh again. So I'm just hoping that could be noted for edification purposes. Now I want to conclude in this particular part as this. We went over in lesson number 18 and or 19, either 18 or 19, pardon me. No, actually it was lesson 18 because it was 2 weeks ago. Lesson 18, we went over the fact that Yod Hey Wah Hey, said by some is Yahweh, Yahuwah, Yahweh, Yahweh, said by some upon those different pronunciations, is not of Satan. It's not of the devil. The Masoretes did not add the Yod Hey Wah Hey into the text. You see Yod Hey Wah Hey in the Dead Sea Scrolls. You see Yod Hey Wah Hey in what they refer to as Numbers chapter 6, which they have inside of the museum. Yabareka, Yahweh wa Yishmareka. The Most High bless thee and keep thee. Ya'ir Yah Panawa Lecha Wikuneka. The Most High make his face to shine upon thee and be gracious unto thee. So just want that to be noted. They have found in ancient Israel artifacts that have, as written as this in ancient Hebrew, Yod Hey Wah Hey. Okay? It's written in modern form as this. The Masoretes did not add this into the text. So I just want that to be noted and understood. So I went over that also in a book inside the Bible in the British Museum. They have that in what they call the Silver Scrolls, dated to the time of King Hezekiah of Israel. You understand? That's still ancient Israel. That's still when Judah was a kingdom. That's still, even though the northern tribes fell as a kingdom, you still have some Israelites of the northern tribes in that particular region of the north of the land of Judah. So I want that hopefully to be noted and understood. Okay, now some brothers and sisters, okay, would say that this form, as they say, is ahaya, means I am. So in the average King James Bible, where they saying I am that I am, here's my question. If that is the case of saying that that is I am that I am, right? How does a person then also say I am? Some people may say ani, as we went over in the pronouns, written as this, and written in the ancient as this. Okay, so Just want that to be noted for edification purposes. So if this is saying I am, then how will a person say I am going? I am the person. I am the man. I am the woman. Brothers and sisters, this word here literally does not mean I am. Now, ani or ani howe is how you say I am or I am existent. Okay, so I just want that to be noted for edification purposes. Okay, so next thing we want to sit there and go over, brothers and sisters, in this particular case is this. The Bible in several parts says this. In the English, I am the Lord. Said in many times in the Bible, right? If one is saying that this is the holy name itself, said by some as Ahaya, said by some who understand vowels, that Ehyeh, right? This just being an arrow itself. If one is then saying this is the way to say the Most High God's name in Hebrew, how then does one say, or what is the translation in Hebrew from I am the Lord to Hebrew? How does the reading in Hebrew text say I am the Lord? Because it's in Leviticus 19. It is in the book of Exodus chapter 20. I am the Lord thy God who brought you out of the land of Egypt. My question, brothers and sisters, to the people who say that Ahaya, which they say means I am, is also the name of the Most High God, how then the Lord, translated from the name of the Most High God, also, so one will then say this, Ahaya or Ehyeh, Ehyeh. So I want to just this be seen. If you're saying that Ahaya or Ehyeh is I am in meaning, and is also the name of the Most High, that means the Most High saying I am the Lord in English is said in the Hebrew as Ahaya, Ahaya. So that means the person saying I am the man would also say Ahaya or Ehyeh, Haish. But if that is the case, then how can a man call himself using the same exact things as the name of the Most High God if the name of the Most High is truly Ahaya or Ehyeh? Simply because, brothers and sisters, Ahaya, or said by those who understand Hebrew has vowels, as Ehyeh is not the name of the Most High. That's how David in 1 Samuel 18 verse 18 is able to say such. So I hope this could be noted and understood for edification purposes. All right, that concludes the time and what we were speaking on. Now, brothers and sisters, for those who are listening, I want to sit there and say thank you on a human level for the time, the dedication. It is greatly appreciated. We know as the days throughout the week go on, there's more and more people who watch. So please feel free to leave your comments, then your constructive criticisms, and your questions. All right? Please feel free to leave it, because as you see, we do check upon it and address it. The board was a matter, we dealt with that. The people saying they couldn't hear me when I was speaking, we dealt with that. All right? Thank you again for letting us know, because I can't hear myself when I'm speaking on how you hear it. So my number, again, 908-587-4841. All right, so as stated, September 7th, which is next week, Wednesday, we're going to go over all 20 lessons in one nutshell. Going to have my little charts up and so forth and so on. All right, right here at Shema. Why am I doing that? Because, brothers and sisters, some of those lessons are 2 hours and change. I know that is a long time of watching for some people. So I was thinking, blessed be the Father, the Most High God, you understand? Let me condense all of them and highlight on very important parts of it. September 7th is also, okay, the 6-month anniversary of the Hebrew class being done here at Shema. It's because we started March 7th. Some weeks we didn't have classes, one reason or the other, but September 7th makes it 6 months. So it's a half a year of us doing Hebrew classes. And I want to say to the people who participated and so forth and so on, I do appreciate the audience. You understand? And as stated, these classes, hakitot ha'ele hakinam. These classes are for free. You understand? I don't ask for no donation. I don't ask for anything of that sort. I will state on camera, this is what I require from the people who run it. Water. That is my requirement. All right? But of course, when you keep talking and talking and talking, you're going to need to drink. So for those who know off camera what it is, my requirement is water because I need to drink. So as far as it goes with that. But that's LOL, that's a whole nother matter. But getting back into this particular point right here, September 7th is that. The week after that, September 14th, brothers and sisters, for those who are able to make it, I'm going to have Tanakhs for sale. I'm going to have these Hebrew dictionaries here for sale. I'm going to have the 201 for sale, the Tikkun for sale, my personal book that I wrote, Egypt Talking Writing, which is available on Amazon for sale. I'm going to have all of those different things on sale. And I'm going to go over the history of the Israelites, history of the Hebrew Israelites, history on why we say we are such, and getting to a Hebrew lesson that is surely, blessed be the Father, let it be noted that Hebrew is very, very easy, very clear. So with that, I say Torah for the time and Shalom. We're going to close out right now. All right? Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Honor, praise, due to the Almighty Creator, God, honor, Israel. O great King, come before you, great King, and say, told out the hope, all things and everything, O great King.
Nah, yeah.
We also come before you and say, Subhanahu, we ask that you forgive us of our sins by your comfort. O great King, we ask that you look into us, the Most High God, and hear the meditation of our hearts, because we don't understand there aren't enough words to even expound upon your greatness, O Most High God, and how grateful we are of you, O Most High. And we humbly come before you and say, told out